It started the way most things do. Quiet, small, easy to dismiss. Just a name and a story. Justin said the meeting was a disaster. She laughed, flicking her fork through a bowl of overpriced salad. I nodded. I didn't think much of it. People have coworkers. Coworkers have opinions. It's normal. Then he came up again. And again. And again. At first, it was harmless. Justin this, Justin that. Justin's take on the boss. Justin's Spotify playlists. Justin being literally the only person at work who understands sarcasm. I remember that line clearly because she looked at me while she said it, like I was supposed to find it funny, or maybe charming. I didn't, but I smiled anyway. That's how it goes, right? You don't raise flags over one name. You don't question a casual mention. You tell yourself, don't be dramatic. Don't be jealous. Don't be that guy. So I wasn't. At least, not at first. But it's amazing how fast a friend becomes a fixture. Within weeks, Justin became a constant in our life. Mentioned in passing, but often enough to feel too familiar. She'd come home later. Stay out for quick drinks that turned into midnight returns. She claimed she just needed to unwind after work, that I didn't understand how stressful her team was lately. And maybe that was true. But cologne I didn't wear started showing up on her clothes. She laughed more at her phone. Started typing faster. Holding it closer. Turning the screen away just slightly whenever I walked by. Once or twice, I caught her wiping notifications before I could see them. The kind of little movements you don't notice if you trust someone. But if something inside you starts whispering, you see everything. I asked once. Calm. Quiet. How close are you and Justin? She didn't laugh. She didn't explain. She froze. Stared at me like I'd accused her of something unspeakable. Then, with the perfect tone of offended authority, she said, Don't be that guy. He's just a friend. You're being weird. That was it. Conversation over. Wall up. Suddenly, I was the problem. Not her. Not her constant mentions of another man. Not the changing behavior. It was me, insecure, suspicious, irrational. And from that moment on, I knew I couldn't bring it up again. Because if I did, I'd be the jealous boyfriend. The paranoid one. The weak one. So I let it go. At least, on the surface. I stopped asking. But I didn't stop noticing. I wasn't snooping. Let's get that out of the way. I wasn't creeping around, digging through her things like a Lifetime movie villain. I was looking for my earbuds. The cheap ones I always lost. I thought maybe I'd left them in her bag during our grocery run the night before. She threw everything in there when we were rushing out in the rain. That's it. That's all I was doing. And then I found it. A hotel key card. Wedged between two crumpled receipts, half buried in the side pocket. The kind of place you throw things you don't want to deal with later. I almost didn't notice it. Just a smooth rectangle with a sharp scribble. 508. No brand name. No logo. Just a colorless card and a number. My stomach didn't drop. That would imply a moment of surprise. But I wasn't surprised. Not anymore. She had said she was at a girls' night that weekend. A wine and charcuterie situation, hosted at someone's apartment. One of those trendy setups that look better in pictures than in real life. She told me who'd be there. Even threw in a story the next day about someone getting too drunk and crying about an ex. I remember thinking she was laying it on a little thick. Now I knew why. I held the card like it might burn me. Tried to imagine a version of reality where it didn't mean what it meant. But there wasn't one. Because you don't bring home a hotel key from a girl's night. Unless the girl was someone else's boyfriend. I didn't confront her. What would that accomplish? She'd just deny it. Say it was from an old work trip. Say it was a mistake. Say she was holding it for a friend. The more unbelievable the excuse, the more confident she'd say it. She was good at that, turning my questions into character flaws. So I didn't say anything. That night, she came home early. Smiling as usual. Told me about some email drama at work. Mentioned Justin again. Something about how he almost accidentally sent a joke to the wrong client. I nodded, laughed when I was supposed to. The hotel key was already in my wallet, right behind my driver's license. She poured us wine, curled up beside me, played her favorite playlist like it was any other night. And in a way, it was for her. But for me, the performance was over. The next morning, I went to the hotel. Not because I needed confirmation, because I wanted finality. The lobby smelled like bleach and stale breakfast waffles. I asked if I could check if something had been left behind in room 508. They wouldn't give me names, privacy policy, but the woman at the desk glanced at her screen and said, That room was checked out 2 days ago. One guest. No notes. Paid in cash. No ID. Of course. I didn't ask anything else. Just nodded, turned, and walked out. I didn't know what I was going to do yet, but I knew I wasn't going to ask for honesty again. You always think the big moments will be loud. That betrayal will hit like a thunderclap, that heartbreak will arrive screaming. But it didn't. It crept in like fog. Slowly, steadily, with quiet hands and no warning. And when it finally settled, all I could feel was stillness. Something in me went flat after that hotel visit. I didn't spiral, didn't rage, didn't yell at a mirror or punch a wall. There was nothing to release because I wasn't shocked anymore. I was just done. That kind of quiet is dangerous, the kind that comes when you've seen enough and felt too much. The kind that doesn't scream, but plans. I started watching her differently. Not as someone I loved. Not as the person I thought I'd marry. I watched her like a stranger. Studied the way she behaved when she thought no one was looking. The way she turned away from me when she texted. The way she answered my questions like I was annoying her. Like I was interrupting a better version of her day. She stopped sleeping beside me. First, it was that I snored too loud. Then it was that she slept better alone. I didn't argue. I moved to the couch. I told her I understood. She gave me a soft smile like she appreciated my maturity. She didn't know I wasn't being mature. I was taking notes. I backed up everything. My files. My photos. My memories. I changed my passwords. Closed accounts I didn't need. Removed her from anything joint. Playlists, subscriptions, cloud access. I called the landlord and confirmed the lease was under my name only. She hadn't even noticed I was separating our lives. That's how detached she'd become. And maybe she thought she was being subtle. Maybe she believed her performance was airtight. But every action has weight when it comes from someone who used to love you. The things she once did instinctively, good morning kisses, coffee just the way I liked it, random little notes, they were gone. Replaced with silence and half smiles, and her phone always turned face down. So I mirrored her. I stopped initiating. Stopped caring about plans. Stopped reacting to the indifference she thought she was hiding so well. I matched her energy, and not once did she ask if something was wrong. Because she didn't care if something was. She just cared that I stayed out of her way long enough to keep doing whatever she was doing with Justin. So I gave her what she wanted. Distance. But not the kind that fades. The kind that sharpens. You learn a lot when you stop speaking. When you go quiet, people assume they're in control. They think your silence is weakness, that it means surrender. But silence is just space. And space can be weaponized. I didn't tell her I knew. I didn't drop hints or leave dramatic evidence lying around. I just started planning, slowly, methodically, like someone preparing for a quiet escape from a burning building. She kept acting normal. Or her version of it. The fake smiles. The last-minute schedule changes. The long showers that ended with locked doors and muted notifications. She called me babe, with that syrupy tone she used when she wanted to keep something surface level. It used to work. It didn't anymore. I created a fake Instagram profile. Generic. Attractive. Just enough mystery. The kind of profile she'd dismiss publicly, but click through privately. I didn't message her. That would be too obvious. I just let the algorithm do the work. Liked a few of her photos. Watched her stories. Waited. One night, I caught her scrolling the profile. Paused a few seconds longer than necessary. Then flipped her phone down when she saw me glance over. Interesting. I took it further. A few late-night notifications from the wrong name. Just long enough on my lock screen for her to catch a glimpse. She didn't ask. Didn't confront me. But I saw her watching. Saw the shift. The quiet calculation in her eyes. She thought I was cheating. And for the first time, I saw fear. She wanted me to be guilty too. To ease her own guilt. To level the playing field. If I cheated, she wasn't the bad guy. She was just reacting. Surviving. So I gave her the illusion. Meanwhile, I logged every detail. Messages she sent, places she went, timestamps that didn't align. I built a timeline stronger than her conscience could ever handle. Then came the invite. Her company's semi-formal. She'd been talking about it for weeks. Fancy rooftop venue, open bar, dress code, the whole curated, we're doing well vibe. She needed me there. Not because we were good, but because we had to look good. Especially in front of the people she worked with. People who, presumably, hadn't met Justin's hands yet. I said yes, of course. Helped her pick her dress. Told her she looked stunning. And meant it. Not because I loved her, but because she looked exactly like what she was. A woman about to walk into her own undoing. The night of the semi-formal felt surreal. There's a strange calm that comes with knowing something someone else doesn't, especially when that someone thinks they're the one in control. Madison floated around the apartment, curling her hair, adjusting her dress, spraying perfume like the world was hers. She looked perfect. And fake. It's impressive, really, how polished someone can appear while lying through their teeth. She talked about the event like it was some milestone for her career. Big people will be there, she said. Important faces. I nodded, smiled, told her I was proud of her. And in that moment, I think she believed everything was still under her control. She drove. Music up. Singing along. Hand on my leg. For a second, I almost forgot. That's the dangerous part. Nostalgia creeps in like a virus. But then we parked, and I saw her take a deep breath and glance at herself in the mirror. Not nervous. Just rehearsing. We entered the venue like nothing was wrong. And to everyone watching, nothing was. We were the couple people wanted to be. Laughing. Holding hands. Her co-workers complimented her dress. A few even commented on how great we looked together. That's the part that always gets me. How easy it is to fool a room. And then I saw him. Justin. He looked exactly as expected. Tall. Smug. Hair too styled for a work event. The kind of guy who says bro with his jaw. His smile was too big when he saw her. Her eyes lingered a second too long. Introductions were made. His handshake was firm, like he needed me to feel something. Maybe intimidation. Maybe guilt. But all I felt was clarity. I played my part. The perfect +1. Let her parade me around. Let people assume we were the happy couple. All while knowing she had a backup plan waiting near the bar. She stepped away to check in with a coordinator. Left her phone behind. A mistake. The lock screen lit up while I sipped champagne. A message preview. Justin. Elevator in 5? So casual. Like they'd done this before. I stood, took one more sip, and walked out. Not because I was hurt. Because her part of the show was over. Mine was just beginning. I got home before her. It was quiet. That kind of deliberate, chosen quiet. No music, no lights. Just the hum of the fridge and the ticking of the kitchen clock. Everything was already prepared. On the kitchen counter. A neatly stacked pile of printed messages. Screenshots of her hotel booking confirmations. Photos of her and Justin laughing in a lobby I reverse searched from his social feed. And on top of it all, the hotel key card. Laid flat. Centered. Clean. Like a signature. I didn't write a note. Didn't leave a dramatic voice memo or some final, poetic message. She didn't deserve a closing monologue. She deserved silence. Her things were already boxed. I had spent the past 2 weeks sorting everything while she scrolled TikTok in the other room, oblivious. Her favorite mugs. Her skincare. The books she never read but displayed for aesthetic. All waiting near the door. She came in late. Her keys hit the table before her smile even formed. Then she saw the counter. And froze. She didn't speak. Not immediately. Just stared. Like she was trying to calculate how much I knew and whether she could still salvage it. I stood from the couch, calm as ever, and walked past her. I handed her the key card, slowly, gently, like passing a final exam back to the student who cheated. She looked at it like it might explode. Her mouth opened, probably to deliver whatever excuse she'd prepared. I didn't let her start. I didn't speak at all. Just one shake of the head. That's all. She understood. And for the first time since it began, she said nothing. Just gathered her things and left. I didn't feel triumphant. There was no adrenaline rush. No slow-motion replay of her face. No inner voice cheering me on. It wasn't victory, just air. The kind you only breathe when something heavy finally slides off your chest. For the first time in weeks, I could move around the apartment without waiting for lies to echo off the walls. The silence wasn't empty. It was earned. I tossed the key card that night. Not out of rage. I had no rage left. I dropped it in the trash like expired milk. Useless. Past its date. She didn't call. Didn't text. Didn't try. Maybe she was too embarrassed. Or maybe she'd already shifted the narrative somewhere else. Turned me into the villain. People like her don't sit with the truth. They mold it into something more flattering. A few mutual friends reached out. Vague messages. Hope you're okay. Weird energy lately. I didn't respond. I didn't need to explain anything. I had no interest in telling my side. Because the people who matter never needed to hear it. And the people who demanded it? They wouldn't believe it anyway. A few weeks later, I passed her on the street. She didn't notice me at first. She looked different, more dressed up than usual, maybe trying harder than before. When our eyes met, there was a flicker of recognition, followed by a look I couldn't quite read. Guilt. Regret. Too late either way. She gave me a nod. That's it. No words. No apology. No, how have you been? Just a silent, awkward nod. And that was fine. I didn't need closure from her, because I already had mine. She told me he was just a friend, that I was being paranoid, that I was making things up in my head. But the hotel key didn't lie. The elevator message didn't lie. Her silence, when faced with proof, didn't lie. And now, I didn't lie to myself anymore either. She had her moment. She used it to deceive. I had mine. I used it to walk away.